Welcome back to my Book of Mormon. I'm your host, David Michael, and this is episode 9. And believe it or not, we are still talking about Nephi, 9 episodes in, and still talking about Nephi. So, I've gotten a ton of mail from listeners in various forms. I've gotten Twitter messages, emails, posts to the website, probably some other things I can't remember. But yeah, messages from all over the place. And one consistent theme is that it's definitely Nephi, so we've solved that riddle. Not Nephi, like I thought maybe originally. Definitely Nephi. And another one, I seem to be able to pronounce Layman correctly, but then I say Lamanites. And apparently I'm driving some people crazy with that, so officially, from now on, it is Lamanites. Yes, Lamanites. Okay, glad we cleared that up. Hopefully I don't continue to call them Lamanites. I may let one slip. Forgive me. If once or twice I say Lamanite by mistake, sorry. I don't necessarily need all the mail to tell me, listen, dummy, it's Lamanite. I get it. Okay. Some other things. Thank you to everyone for all of your iTunes reviews and for listening to the show, because this week, for the first time, the show reached number 1 ranking in the iTunes ranking under Religious Other category. I was very excited to see that. I was actually pretty shocked to see that. And obviously couldn't have done it without all of your support. So keep them coming. Go to iTunes, search for the show, My Book of Mormon, and give me a 5-star review. Those are fantastic. You have no idea. When I wake up in the morning, I'm a bit of a junkie. I'm sorry. You're my fuel. You're better than coffee in the morning. I wake up and I pull it up, and when I see another review on there, I just get giddy. I'm like, I'm just ready to start the day. This is fantastic. So thanks to everybody who did that. Same thing with Facebook likes. I think I'm up to 23. So now we're getting there. Still, if there's anything I'm disappointed with you guys about, it's that. That seems, I think we can do better than 23. Anyway, it's okay. Facebook says, once you reach 30 likes, you will have access to additional insights. I'm so curious as to what that is. It's probably nothing, but I just want to know. I just need 7 more. So come on, guys. Let's do it. Let's get me up to 30, and then I'll stop talking about it. Seriously, I don't know. Then they'll probably say, once you reach 100, you'll get even more insights, and then I'll be like, Argh. Anyway, we'll see. Now, I also have to call out that in addition to all of the great, lovely letters that I've received from everyone, I have had some critiques, some challenges. Probably one of the, outside of the mispronunciation, but I just kind of find that funny. One of the biggest ones is that I apparently completely missed in 2 Nephi chapter 3. For those of you that don't remember, it was the one where it just kept going on and on and on about the fruit of thy loins, the fruit of thy loins. Yeah, apparently that was like a foreshadowing of Joseph Smith. So if you actually pick up your handy Book of Mormons that I'm sure everyone's following along with, and turn back, children, to 2 Nephi chapter 3, you can read it again. And apparently that was supposed to be like Joseph Smith, adding in that Lehi was prophesying that he would come. Yeah. I got to be honest with you, though. I read it again, and I was like, I guess now that you mention it, I could see that. But I think I might, if you just asked me, hey, read that again, tell me what you think, I don't know that I would have pulled it out. I think it's either I just missed it, the fruit of thy loins just mess with my head and I can't get past it. Or it could be that when you're indoctrinated into this, right? So if you were taught, hey, kids, this is the part where, Lehi prophesied that Joseph Smith would come. Isn't this a miracle? And then you read it, then you can see it, right? So as soon as people said, I can't believe you missed that was about Joseph Smith, and then I read it, I was like, okay, now I see it, now that you mention it. But yeah, sometimes I think I'm going to miss stuff, right? I think I'm probably going to continue to miss things. So while that was definitely a critique on my reading, certainly I appreciate everyone that pointed that out, because it's a good thing to point out, because it is, it's kind of funny, right? That Joseph Smith made it a point to make his lead character prophesy about him. Like, kind of smart. I think he could have worded it better. That's just me, because I missed it. I couldn't tell. Anyway, I've also had a few people that thought I was being disingenuous, especially in the very first episode, because I so quickly called out that, hey, has anyone checked DNA evidence? And that's like, oh, you must have known, rah. And I really didn't, but again, it's the first thing that came to my mind. Okay, we have an entire group of people that claim to be from a different part of the world than, is naturally believed. And it's like, well, what would be, how would you check? There's one answer. It's DNA, right? I don't know why that one stood out for a lot of people as a strange thing. But then I started thinking about it. And, when I was taught the story of Noah's Ark as a kid, right, I I didn't really ask all of the right critical questions that I would today if I'd heard it for the first time, right? It was just like, oh, that's a nice story. All the animals are saved. Isn't that lovely? But, if I'd heard it for the first time today, you would just, and anyone, not just me, if anyone told you, if you'd never heard it before, and someone said, this is true, you'd look at them and go, how is that possible? How would every animal on Earth from every continent, did they swim? What? And how did they stay alive? Animals from different climates and different humidities needed to survive and different eating. What are you talking about? And for that matter, when they got off the boat, how did they get back to where they were supposed to be? I mean, it's just, you would ask those questions. So yeah, I think I don't know, I could be wrong. But I do want to tell people, I am genuinely ignorant to all of this. And if it seems like that's not true, that's amazing, because I feel like an idiot reading this sometimes, because I oftentimes don't know what's going on. And I have to kind of pause and reread and say, what did that mean? And oftentimes I just give up and move on. So yeah, if it sounded crazy that I would just immediately point to DNA, I don't know what else you would do. How else would you check? How else would you know? So anyway, I don't know. I didn't know, and I promise I didn't. And if you don't believe me still, I'm sorry. I don't know what else I can say. But yeah, I think that it really is different when it's something you were raised with. Right. I mean, so for example, I remember I didn't realize that the Garden of Eden story, I know we've talked about this on the show, I didn't realize the Garden of Eden story, that it wasn't Satan until I was an adult and said I was going to read the Bible, myself, without all of the pastor up front or the Christian school teacher. Yes, I went to Christian school. Telling me, okay, this is how the story went. It's like I just read it for myself, and I remember it's like the very beginning, and I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't the devil. It was just a snake. What? What's this now? Right? And that happened constantly throughout reading the Bible. When I read it again, from a skeptical viewpoint, lots of things that I had just assumed were true were not. Anyway, I'm babbling on about it. So again, thank you for sending those. I really do want to know what's coming off as either just outright something I missed, or if I'm just blatantly incorrect about something. It's great to know that. It's also good to know if there's anything that I'm saying that doesn't sound genuine, right? I would like you to challenge me on it if it doesn't sound right, and give me a chance to comment to that. So I just wanted to say that because more than one person mentioned that, and so the DNA thing and also the Nephi or that whole Joseph Smith prophecy, several people mentioned. So hopefully I didn't lose any listeners over those things. So all right, we'll move on. So the other update I have is that the show is now available on Stitcher. So you can download the Stitcher app if you're not a Apple user and using iTunes. So far, the only way to listen to the show would have been directly from the website, or you'd have to be pretty tech savvy and have to know how to use an RSS feed. So it's now available on Stitcher. So you can download that app, search for the show. There's also a link to it on the website, which is, of course, www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com. So you can always click on the link there. I added a link to it both on the menu bar as well on the contact page. I think it's in there. No, not contact. Well, it's up. No, there's a button for it. Sorry. Yeah, there's a button that just says it's Stitcher. You can click that. Okay. So again, we should probably close out, but I do want to say thank you for even the people that sent me challenging emails as well as the ones that said compliments. All right. So there's 100 more thank yous that I probably need to give. Just to everybody listen to the show. Thank yous all around. The other thing, last week I mentioned that the herd mentality, episode 58, I was in that. And when I recorded it, I thought that perhaps by the time I released this, that would be out. It actually came out a day or two later. So if you looked for it when I first released this episode and didn't find it, try again now. Herd mentality, episode 58. It is myself and Paul from the podcast Quranify Me, who is doing a very similar show to this one, where he's reading the Quran cover to cover. And I have to say, his job is much more of a task than mine, because this book's actually entertaining. His is rough stuff. Anyway, okay, so as you can probably tell, I'm excited. There were certain episodes where I was kind of like, we're going to read some more. But now I'm just fired up, because all the support you guys give, the fact that people like this show, and that, again, I'm getting my fix in the morning when I see people writing to me and telling me how much they like it and making reviews, fired up. So I'm just going to get started. We're just going to do this. Chapter 11, second book of Nephi. Here we go. And I'm pretty sure Jacob was talking last, so let's see if he still has the podium. And now Jacob spake many more things to my people at that time. Nevertheless, only these things have I caused to be written, for the things which I have written sufficeth me. I don't know who's saying that. Probably Nephi. Let's see. And now I, Nephi, oh, there it is. Yep, Nephi said it. And now I, Nephi, write more of the words of Isaiah, for my soul delighteth in his words. Yeah, I think Nephi might be a little gay. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But he might need to just fess up. He keeps delighting in other men. Anyway, for I will liken his words unto my people, and I will send them forth unto all my children. For he verily saw my Redeemer, even as I have seen him. Who's the Redeemer? Is that just a word for God? I don't know. He saw my Redeemer. Whatever. Redeemer's capitalized, so I assume it's someone holy, but it doesn't really say. Okay. And my brother Jacob also has seen him as I have seen him. Wherefore I will send their words forth unto my children to prove unto them that my words are true. Okay, so because Jacob saw him too, well, it must be true. There you go. 2 eyewitnesses. He's my brother. There's no way I could have convinced him to say that he saw something he didn't. That's not possible. So therefore, it must be true. All right. Wherefore, by the words of 3, God hath said, I will establish my word. By the words of 3. Well, so we only have Nephi and Jacob. Who's the third? Come on. Who's the third? Doesn't say. I hate it when it doesn't say. All right. God hath said, I will establish my word. Nevertheless, God sendeth more witness, and he proveth all his words. Who are the more? I hate it when they say that these things happen, but they give us no details. All right. So there's at least 3 witnesses, 2 of which we know about, and apparently God's going to send more. Great. Behold, my soul delighteth in proving unto my people the truth of the coming of Christ. For is written twice. F-O-R, F-O-R. For this end hath the law of Moses been given, and all things which have been given of God from the beginning of the world unto men are the typifying of him. I don't know what that meant. Doesn't seem very relevant, so I'm going to move on. And also my soul delighteth in the covenants of the Lord, which he hath made to our fathers. Yea, my soul delighteth in his grace, and in his justice, and power, and mercy, and the great and eternal plan of deliverance from death. So we've already established, every time he says, isn't it great, the mercy of God, that he's going to keep us from going to hell, even though he created us, to go to hell. Yeah, we won't. I'm not going to keep recycling that joke. But anyway, I'm going to stop for a second. One of the emails, actually it's one of the iTunes reviews, said that I should people listening should play a drinking game. So every time I say the word yay, or it came to pass, you have to take a drink. So we're 1 down. Everybody, turn your drinks up. I said yay. I'll call it out next time in case you miss it. And my soul delighteth in proving unto my people that save Christ should come, all men must perish. For if there be no Christ, there be no God. And if there be no God, we are not. For there could have been no creation. Well, that's just, okay, let me just finish it. But there is a God, and he is Christ, and he cometh in the fullness of his own time. Now that's just absurdity. So it's saying, if there's no Christ, there's no God. And if there's no God, we wouldn't be here. But we're here, so there has to be a Christ. That is the worst logic I've ever heard. That's as dumb as saying, if there were no elves, there'd be no Santa. If there were no Santa, there'd be no Christmas. And since there is a Christmas, there are elves. That's just, what? Yeah, that proves nothing, Nephi. Good try, but that doesn't prove a thing. Okay. And now I write some of the words of Isaiah, that whoso of my people shall see these words may lift up their hearts and rejoice for all men. Now these are the words, and ye may liken them unto you and unto all men. So that's the end of the chapter. So I think it was just a prelude that he's saying, I'm going to start talking about Isaiah. That doesn't sound promising. Yeah, I'm a little worried. I've gotten several emails from people that have warned me that the Isaiah chapters are murder. So it's starting one. So let's see if we can make this fun. Challenge accepted. We are going to make the Isaiah chapters entertaining. So for those of you who didn't think this was possible, let's see if I can do it. I'm not saying I can, but I am going to give it the old college try. So here we go. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days, when the mountain of the last day. So now Isaiah is talking about, Armageddon, right? The last day. So the end of the world. Yeah, fair enough. When the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So is this like a Mount Olympus thing? Are they stealing from the Greek mythology? I guess. It says God's going to build a house on top of a mountain. So, yeah, something. Maybe it's Olympus. Who knows? And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Now, I've kind of established, I could be wrong about this, but every time they referenced Zion before, it sounded like they were talking about this new church in America. So it's saying the law is going to come from America, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Well, I don't know how they're going to talk to each other. We've got law coming from America and the word of the Lord. I don't know how they're different. Well, whatever. That's just silly. Maybe I'm wrong about what Zion is, but that seemed like that's every time they reference Zion, it seemed American. Okay, whatever. Could be wrong. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Why would anyone do that? All right. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. So everyone's going to stop fighting, apparently. Well, this doesn't sound so bad. I thought Armageddon was supposed to be really rough. But I love that, God's going to rebuke a bunch of people. And they're like, oh, we've been rebuked by God. What do we do? Well, I guess we'll stop fighting. That's logical. And also, why would you're beating your sword into it? Like what? Like a garden hoe? What good is that? I mean, first of all, you can just go to like a hardware store and buy one for like $20. That seems like it would be a lot better effort. And also, there's got to be a better use for a sword. You could do maybe you need to skin an animal. It doesn't mean you have to be at war with it. Huh. I mean, I'm sure it's just a metaphor, but still. Also, didn't we learn that Nephi was copying Laban's, awesome steel sword? So wouldn't you have to heat it up to bend it? I don't know. Whatever. That's just silly verse. And why would people stop fighting? I'm going to stop. Yeah, I'm moving on. O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Yea. Drink. I said, yea. Everybody drink. Come, for ye have gone on astray, every one to his wicked ways. Therefore, O Lord, thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east, and hearken unto the soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. Ugh. All right, listen, house of Jacob, I think you kind of deserve this forsakening, because if you're pleasing yourself with children, that's you deserve pretty much all the rebuking that God has to give. You can't please yourself with children. Everybody knows that. That's not cool. Stop it. Just stop it. Their land is also full of silver and gold. Neither there is any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses. Okay. Neither is there any end of their chariots. All right. So it sounds like they're pretty rich. They've got everything they need, and they're doing weird stuff with children too. Their land is also full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands, that which their own fingers have made. Huh. That's, I could insert a masturbation joke in here pretty easily, but I don't want to have to put the explicit language thing on there. But yeah, you do the math. People worshiping with their own fingers. Yeah, you don't want, we could just do your imagination. And the mean man boweth not down, and the great man humbleth himself not, therefore forgive him not. All right, so if you're mean or great, then you deserve no forgiveness. So stop being a great person. Start being more, average. O ye wicked ones, enter into the rock, and hide thee in the dust, for fear of the Lord and the glory of his majesty shall smite thee. How is that going to help? So we have this all-seeing, all-knowing, omnipotent God, and if you go into a cave, he can't get you? It's like, ha ha. That's awesome. You wanted to smite me, God, but I'm in this cave, so, joke's on you. And then I love the hide in the dust. So is that like Rambo? Where remember in Rambo, he covered himself in mud, and then the enemy just walked by and couldn't see him. And then when their back was turned, I think he shot an arrow at him or something. Anyway, sounds like that. Although they're just using dust. They don't even use mud. So yeah, God is pretty easily fooled, apparently. Caves are dust, and he can't get you. No smiting. And it shall come to pass that the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of man shall be bowed down. And the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. All right, so basically all pride of any kind is just gone. All right. For the day of the Lord of hosts soon cometh upon all nations. Yea, drink. Upon every one. Yea, drink again. Upon the proud and lofty. And upon every one who is lifted up. And he shall be brought low. I'm fairly certain that said exactly the same thing as the last verse, but whatever, we'll move on. Yea, drink. And the day of the Lord shall come upon all the cedars of Lebanon, for they are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan. That's interesting. So God's going to live in the trees? What is he going to come down in the form of a squirrel? I don't get that. Why the trees? All right, well, let's see what else. And upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills, and upon the nations which are lifted up, and upon every people, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall. So God has some sort of issue with low-lying areas, it seems. He's going to come to earth, and he's just going to go in high places. I don't know. He doesn't want to touch the ground. Maybe he thinks dirt is dirty. I don't know. Well, we already know he has an issue with dust. So, yeah. If you're avoiding a smite, certainly don't climb high to try and avoid God, because that's where he'll be. He'd, just to get to low ground. You'll be fine there, apparently. And upon all the ships of the sea, and upon the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures. This is weird. So first of all, upon all the ships of the sea. Okay, that covers everything, right? That's all ships. And upon the ships of Tarshish. So does that mean the ships of Tarshish aren't in the sea? Or what are they? A dry dock? I don't weird. I don't know why they had to call that one out specifically. And, regardless of the fact that no one on earth knows what a Tarshish is. And upon all pleasant pictures. What? How does God get into the pleasant? Is that like, you're going to log into Instagram during Armageddon and you're going to say, let's see what we got here. And all you see is a bunch of pictures of God staring at you going, what? I'm on your pictures now. That's bizarre. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of man shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. We have read that 3 times now. Okay, that's great. Was Joseph Smith did he have a publisher that paid him by the word? And that's why he just keeps repeating these things? It's the exact same thing. He said it 3 times in the same, 10 verses. It's been repeated 3 times. That's bizarre. And the idols he shall utterly abolish. Well, no, that's just mean. Earlier it talked about how proud they were. And they made them with their own hands. They were like, imagine your kid coming home, and he's like, Daddy, I made you this nice little pot in art class out of clay. It's just for you. And you're like, I don't like it. I will utterly abolish it and just smash it on the ground. That's mean. It already said that they're very proud of it. They're very proud of their work that they made with their own hands and their own fingers. And he's gonna smash it. It seems mean. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth. For they fear the Lord shall come upon them, and the glory of his majesty shall smite them, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. So yeah, again, we've gotten clarification. Twice now they're telling us, on Armageddon, if you know you're a sinner, just go to a cave. God can't touch you there. Man, God's not as strong as I thought, but apparently you're safe in a cave. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver, his idols of gold, which he hath made for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. What? Did I read that right? So basically, he's going to take his gold and silver idols and throw them to moles and bats. What is a bat going to do with an idol? Or a mole, for that matter. I suppose a mole could, dig it in a hole. A bat can't do anything with an idol. They're tiny. That's weird. To go into the clefts of the rocks, into the tops of the ragged rocks, for the fear of the Lord shall come upon them, and the majesty of all his glory shall smite them, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. Okay, again, you just said that, so 3rd time now, you're safe in the rocks. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, from wherein is he to be accounted of? What is that? So you can't breathe through your nose? This is getting weird. It's been weird for a while, but that's pretty bizarre. I don't know. I think we have a competition for what's the weirdest thing in here. Either throwing gold and silver idols at bats, or breathing through your nose is somehow makes you not to be accounted for. That doesn't even worth talking about. It's so bizarre. I was in chapter 12. These are quick chapters. Making quick progress today. All right. Chapter 13. For behold, and I don't know. Am I trying too hard? What do you think, guys? Is this funny? Am I making this entertaining? I hope so. I admit a few of the things I said, as I was saying, man, that's going to be hit or miss. But I don't know. You never know. Some people might think that was entertaining. But we're going to keep going. Hopefully you've continued to listen and haven't shut me off yet. All right. Chapter 13. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole staff of bread, and the whole stay of water. What is a staff of bread? I guess a loaf. Yeah. And a stay of water, a jug, I guess. Something. The mighty man, and the man of war, the judge, and the prophet, and the prudent, and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer? I have to look that one up. And the eloquent orator. I have no idea why they mentioned that. It was like a subject of a sentence without the predicate, right? It just said, the mighty man, man of war, judge, prophet, blah, 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 captains, honorable men, period. Okay, thank you for listing a bunch of people. I have no idea why that was there. Okay, next. And I will give children unto them to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Are they referring to these certain occupations? I don't know. Maybe. But that doesn't make sense. It's like such a bizarre group it doesn't seem like they have anything in common. A mighty man, a man of war, a judge, a prophet, a prudent, and an ancient. This sounds like I set up for a really bad joke, but then it keeps going. Captain of 50, honorable man, counselor, cunning artificer, whatever that is, and the eloquent orator. Well, I can't. It's like a riddle. What do they have in common? I have the foggiest idea. But apparently, I think they're going to get kids to be. Wait, I will give children to be their princes and babes. Okay, so basically, he's going to put young people as their bosses. So there's a hell of a punishment. You guys are screwed now. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. So, yeah, dogs and cats living together, chaos. Okay. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, and shall say, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let not this ruin come under thy hand. Okay. Because he has clothes, he's in charge. These are some pretty rough times. People must be running around naked, and it's like, oh my God, he's wearing clothes. Will you please be our ruler? Please. Yeah, so everybody keep a good stockpile of clothes for the Armageddon, because apparently that's gonna be a hot commodity. And what happened in the last chapter? It was like, hey, there's not gonna be any more war, everyone's just gonna take their swords and beat the crap out of them until they turn into garden hose. And now it's like everyone's like fighting. What happened between the last chapter and this one? Things went from sounding pretty peaceful, and now it's sounding pretty crazy, especially with all the nakedness. Anyway, in that day he swear, saying, I will not be a healer, for in my house there is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. So he's like, hey, I might be wearing clothes, but don't think I got any in my house to give you. So, yeah, all I have is this one set. Sorry. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongues and their doings have been against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. Well, there you go. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and doth declare their sin to be even as Sodom, and they cannot hide it. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. So they're Sodomites now, I guess. Say unto the righteous, that it is well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, for they shall perish, for the reward of their hand shall be upon them. And my people, children, are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Oh, stop the press, hold on. I was okay with kids ruling over me, but women? Now you've crossed the line. We can't have that now. Yeah, that's awesome. It's great that's like this awful Armageddon state. Like, you want to hear how bad it's going to be? Women are going to be in charge. That's great. Okay. O my people, they who lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of my paths. The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. Okay. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof, for ye have eaten up the vineyard, and the spoil of the poor in your houses. Come on, that's mean. Ate the food of the poor? Yeah, you're starting to, they're making a case for why they're getting punished anyway. Between the kid pleasuring and the eating other poor people's food. I think they're starting to deserve it. What mean ye? Ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts. Grind the faces of, so not only did you steal their food, you grinded their faces. I'm not quite sure what that looks like. I assume maybe you take their face in the ground and just rub it around. Like, take that, you poor person. Yeah, these people do deserve some punishment. They're not a nice bunch. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, they walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Whoa, okay, so stretched forth necks, so basically, their heads are held high. Shame on you women, how could you? Wanton eyes, how dare you look? Keep your eyes to the ground. Walking and mincing as they go. Mincing. Yeah, mincing? Isn't that to, grind up meat? Okay, so they're walking. That one's weird. And making a tinkling with their feet. Are they peeing? I don't know. They pee while they're walking? And a little tinkle on my feet. Oops. I don't know what else that means, unless they have, little bells on their feet, but I don't see why that's such a crime. Yeah. But apparently, these women, they're no good, because their heads are held high. They're looking around. They're actually, how dare they look around with desire? That's forbidden. And no walking and mincing your meat for whatever reason. And tinkling with their feet. This is, that's all no good. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. Wow, smite with a scab? That sounds like that's a pretty bad smiting right there. Not your average smite. Smite with a scab. All right. And the Lord will discover their secret parts. Well, the Lord's doing a little exploring, isn't he? Yeah. That's I don't know if anyone can translate that into anything other than God is looking up the women's skirts there. He's going to discover their secret parts. That's God's a bit of a perv. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments and cowls and round tires like the moon. This is getting weird. I guess it's like their ornament, their jewelry and stuff. I guess is what that's saying. He's going to take it away. but I don't know why their jewelry would be brave. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tables and the earrings and the thongs and the miniskirts. Oh, wait, no, I made that part up. Sorry. Haha. The rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples, the wimples and the crisping pins. This sounds like an old Dickens book or something. Yeah, she wore a wimple. I don't know what that is. It's some type of old-timey clothes of some kind. Nothing, I would be pretty upset if I lost my wimple. Sorry. The glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. There's not much left. Pretty sure these girls are naked. I think he's taking all this away so he can discover their secret parts. So it's all part of the master plan. And it shall come to pass, drink, instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. Instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. Ooh, now this is starting to get bad. He's shaving their head. And instead of a stomacher, a girdling of sackcloth, burning instead of beauty. A stomacher. Okay, this really got, these words, I'm going to need a dictionary next time I read. I assume that's some type of nice-looking clothes that's being replaced with a sackcloth, which is not so nice, I guess. So there you go. The men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. What war? You already said there was no more war. You just said it. No one's fighting anymore, and now they're all dying in the war. And it doesn't even say dying in war. They were saying in the war. So there's one war, except for the fact that we don't fight anymore. And her gate shall lament and mourn, and she shall be desolate, and shall sit upon the ground. Rough time for these ladies. I think the men had it better just getting killed. They got stripped, their heads shaved, and now they don't even have furniture. Sit on the ground and be desolate. That's what you get for being proud, ladies. So, I mean, that had to be one of the strangest things I've ever read. All right, let's see. Chapter 14 now. This is, I know that doesn't make the book any shorter when a chapter's short, but for some reason I feel like, wow, I'm making so much progress because these chapters are short. I know it has no effect. We could have an episode that's like half a chapter if it's incredibly long, or we could have one that's 10 chapters if they're short, but whatever. For some reason I feel like I'm making more progress when I go through chapters. So chapter 14. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, and wear our own apparel, only let us be called by the name to take away our reproach. Oh, called by thy name. Oh, now we're starting to get into polygamy. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth excellent and comely to them, that they are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass, drink. Come on now, we're still playing. I said it. All right. That they are left in Zion and remain in Jerusalem shall be called holy, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. So there's something about where you have to live to be holy. It sounds like if you're left in Zion and remain in Jerusalem. See, now it sounds like Zion and Jerusalem are the same, not America. I'm a little confused about that, but whatever. Yeah, so if you stay in Jerusalem, you will be called holy. But oddly enough, the verse before said that you'll be beautiful and glorious if you escape from Israel. So I don't know how you escape from Israel and then stay in Jerusalem. That seems a bit odd. I don't know how you do that, because it seems like they're in the same place. All right. And when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, yeah, you filthy women, you're filthy. I love it. Sorry. And shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. That's pleasant. Nothing like a good burning to clean something. Yeah. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of a flaming fire by night, for all the glory of Zion shall be a defense. That's kind of like the Moses story, right? The whole pillar of smoke, pillar of fire thing. Yeah. And there shall be, and by the way, if anyone's listening to this and doesn't know anything about the Bible, I know I make a lot of Bible references, so I just apologize in advance. Just trust me. It's in there. Yeah. Okay. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and a covert for storm and from rain. All right. So you'll have a big tent. That's great. I want to live there. I think that's the end of the chapter. Well, that's weird. It just mentioned this whole 7 women will take one guy and say, hey, can we have your name? So that we can't take away our reproach, which I think it's like, hey, we're filthy and we'll be only clean if all 7 of us marry you. And that was it. I thought we were this is going to be a chapter about polygamy. No, just that one verse. So that was the first time it came up. So I wonder, is all of polygamy based on that one weird verse, that one random verse there? Seems like, I don't know. We'll see. All right, chapter 15. This is fantastic. And you know what? I'm fairly certain that I probably missed a yay or it shall come to pass, at least one. So everybody just take a drink. Right now. All right. Maybe 2. If you think, for those of you, maybe I did miss 2. Let's just go with 2. 2 drinks. All right. I'm gonna try and be more careful. There were parts there, like in the middle, where I realized, wait a minute, I'm not paying attention. And maybe I'm busting out some yays and not following along. Although this has had a small number of yays compared to previous readings. So I'm afraid we picked the wrong episode to play this drinking game. Well, unless, I guess, there were certain episodes you'd have been unconscious by now and possibly, alcohol poisoning, because there were some where we had some yays. All right, then, chapter 15. And then will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. I'm sorry. How is touching his vineyard? My well-beloved hath a vineyard that is... Wow. Okay, I will try to read this without laughing, but it will be challenging. Okay, I'm starting it over. And then I will sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. Sorry. My well-beloved hath a vineyard and a very fruitful hill. Okay. We'll just leave that alone. It was funny enough by itself. And he fenced it, and he gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. Then he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. All right, so very descriptive way of saying someone made a vineyard. So, all right. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What's going on right now? I'm lost. Is the vineyard supposed to be a metaphor, or I don't know. All right, whatever. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. Okay, and now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and I will break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. This must be some sort of parable, because, why would you do that otherwise? You have a perfectly good vineyard. Let me just knock down all of the things that are keeping it healthy. So what would that prove? I don't know. And it will lay waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. Is this Isaiah? I think, before, I think it was supposed to be like Nephi saying what Isaiah said, but now it kind of sounds like God's talking, doesn't it? Because Isaiah can't command the rain, can he? Or does he think he can? I don't know. This is... remember before, I think it was last episode where I said it was really helpful when the chapter started with, and I, Nephi, said. Because you're like, okay, cool, now I know who's talking. And in this one, it doesn't really say, but it was Isaiah. But again, I don't know why Isaiah thinks he can control the rain. All right, let's keep going. Maybe it'll become clear later. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, and behold, oppression, for righteousness, but behold, a cry. This is not helpful. All right, so I think I was right. The vineyard's some sort of metaphor for Israel, but the plant is Judah, and the righteous cry. Something. This is probably just like, oh, Israel got bad, and that's why your vineyard's no good anymore. Is probably what this is getting to. Woe unto them that they join house to house, till there can be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears, said the Lord of hosts, of a truth many houses shall be desolate, and in great and fair cities without inhabitant. Okay. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield 1 bath, and the seed of a homer shall yield an ephah. What's happening? Really? When did, everything made sense in the last chapter. It was perfect, and now it's gibberish. It's like it switched to a different language. What on earth is the seed of a homer, and what is an ephah? E-P-H-A-H. I will probably now get 50 emails telling me exactly what this is trying to say, and I might have to have a correction in the beginning of the next episode, because this is weird. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, and wine inflame them. Okay, first verse in this entire chapter that made sense. So don't get drunk in the morning and keep drinking all day. That's fair. That's you can't be very productive if you do that. I'm not saying there's wrong with drinking. If you wake up in the morning and just drink all day every day, yeah, that's no way to live. And the harp and the viol and the tabret and pipe and wine are in their feasts, but they regard not the works of the Lord, neither consider the operation of his hands. I think it's these drunk people. Yeah, the drunk people play a lot of music too. Yeah, that's no good. What are you doing playing music, drunkard? Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp that he rejoiceth shall descend into it. All right, so not only did they have a rough time of it on earth, they're also apparently doomed for hell. So these people are just not having it. They're not having a good time. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled. For the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. What is that now? The 5th time they've said that? I don't know. Whatever. Again, stop being mighty. Got to be average. We already learned that. That's fine. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. I'm just reading right now. I don't even know. This is all weird. And woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a cart rope. You know what this is like? Have you ever seen on the internet, they have those random like phrase generators? They have one that's like, for business buzzwords, right? So you can like click a button. It's like you click it and it just like spits out 3 buzzwords, and then they're together. So it'll be like structured strategic opportunity, and then you can click it again. It's what this seems like. It's almost like they're playing, I don't know, like that game that he's just clicking this button. Because like seriously, all of a sudden we got fat ones out of nowhere. We got cart ropes. It's like there's just words. They're just thrown in out of nowhere. That say, let him make speed, hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we might know it. Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put forth darkness for light, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter. Yeah, I mean, that's, what is that? That's like the Bizarro Superman, right? It's just opposite everything. So yeah, light is dark, up is down, yeah, I suppose they would be woed. Anyway, woe unto the wise in their own eyes, and prudent their own sight. Again, they have a problem with wisdom in this book. Don't learn too much. Remember, there was like, education, bad. Yeah, and again, the wise, the mighty. I mean, you really have to be a pretty mundane, average, just kind of keep your mouth shut kind of person in order to make it into heaven, apparently. That's what it seems like. Woe unto the mighty to drink wine. Woe unto the mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink. So, at first I was with you. When it was like, don't wake up in the morning and get hammered and be drunk all day. That's no good. But now it's like, you just can't drink. Don't drink wine at all. That's not sounding very promising. Our drinking game would come to an end pretty fast, I'm afraid. Who justify well, I guess if you're playing a game, that might be a loophole, right? I mean, you have no choice. You don't. If I say yeah, you have to drink. If I say come to pass, you have to drink. So yeah. I think that you'd get a pass from God on that one. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, I'm telling you, they are using a random word generator. They really are. Or Joseph is. I always say they, but it's really just him. Their root shall be rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despiseth the word of the Holy One of Israel. All right. I mean, I guess these are the drunk people, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. Therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people, and he hath stretched forth his hand against them, and he hath smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. Oof, that was a hell of a bitch slap from God right there. For all his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. What? His hand's still out there. I just have this picture, right? You got God in the sky, and his hand's out, and he just smacks the crap out of some people. I mean, just like rips them in half, and then he's just still holding it out like, who's next? And that's kind of funny. But, it was their problem. They should have, if you're going to get drunk when God's, watching, You go to the cave, dummies. You just you go to the cave. Have a little speakeasy in the cave. You can do whatever you want in there. God can't touch you. Their fault. They're out in the streets getting drunk. What'd they expect to happen? That was just dumb on their part. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and will hiss unto them forth from the end of the earth, and behold, they shall come with speed swiftly, none shall be weary, nor stumble among them. Yeah, again, random word generator. None shall slumber nor sleep, neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed, nor the latchet of their shoes broken. I think I should pause for a second, because I guess it's about this ensign, which ensign in military terms is like the lowest ranking naval officer. So I don't know why we should be really impressed with like an ensign to the nations. That would be like a, pretty low level person. And apparently everyone's just come running. And there's an ensign. Oh my God! And let's go meet him. I don't know why that's so exciting, because they're not going to sleep. They're not going to take their shoes off. They're just going to come find this ensign, whoever he is. All right. Whose arrows shall be sharp, and all their bows bent, and their horses' hoofs shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. They're roaring like a lion. So this is just a very poetic way of saying they're going very fast. Yeah. And I suppose they're all going to this ensign of some kind. Yeah, that's what it seems like. They shall come with. Yeah, I suppose so. All right, great. They're going really fast. They shall roar like young lions. Yea, they shall roar. They shall hold of the prey, and shall carry it away safe, and none shall deliver. And in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if they look unto the land, behold darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. So I just want to say that 2 Nephi chapter 15, I have no idea what that said. Yeah, not even in the slightest. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I think we're going to stop there. I felt like a good stopping point, because I feel like I'm just going to sound like an idiot if I go any further. Yeah, so after I stop recording, I'm going to read it a few times and see if I can figure out what that's saying. Because I have a feeling after I air this, I'm going to get all these emails like, come on, man, you couldn't figure that out. It's like totally about, Layman and his blah, blah, blah. Like, I have a feeling that's coming. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be insulting. I want to know, like, you guys, the people that know what's in here, it's just like it seems so obvious to you. I get it. I really do. And it's like, that didn't make a lick of sense to me. 2 Nephi chapter 15 was by far the most inconceivable group of words that I've ever, read. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That was an interesting place to stop. I think up until 15, I was doing really well. I thought so. I mean, I was kind of proud. I was feeling good. I was laughing it up. I thought I had some good jokes going. I was making myself laugh anyway. Hopefully you were too. But then I got that 15. I'm dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded by it. Maybe that in and of itself was entertaining, just listening to me sound like a moron. But anyway, that's enough for now. And until next time, come on, guys. We can do it. Like I said before, I was up to number 1 in the iTunes rating, but I've slipped. I'm not there anymore. I made it there once. It was shortly after I released episode 8. So it seems like right after an episode, when I tell everybody, come on now, if you haven't rated me, go do it, because this is awesome. And then it just has this compounding effect, because once you get up there, then people look and say, what's this number 1 show? I have to listen. And then it just keeps spreading. It's like a virus. It's beautiful. So if you haven't done it, really, it's such an easy thing to do. Go click it. Or give me those 5 stars. Type something in if you want. If you don't want, that's fine too. But at least the review is really good. And also do that on Stitcher. I forgot about that. I'm on Stitcher now. So yeah, you can rate me there too. I believe it's the same 5-star rating system. So yeah, just give me 5. If you haven't, hey, you know what? For all you people that are sitting back easy going, well, I already gave him this 5-star review. Yeah, but you only did it on iTunes. Now you owe me on Stitcher. Sorry, I'm not charging you money for the show. So this is what it costs. This is what it costs to be entertained. A couple clicks. Just a couple clicks. Yeah. And so for the 23 people that have liked the Facebook page, you're my greatest fans. Yeah. You're the best ones. Yeah. Because you've done it. The rest of you, not so sure. Not so sure about you yet. We'll see. You might be able to convince me that you're a good listener. But so far, I'm, my heart really goes out to the Facebook fans. Okay, enough of this self-promotion I'm trying to do. It's pretty blatant that I'm doing it, not hiding it. But yeah, so that was it for today. episode 9 has come to a close, and we will see you next time where we get into 2 Nephi chapter 16, and hopefully it makes some sense. All right. Bye, everybody. This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.